that they hire and evaluate.
Hello.
Hi.
Others in there?
Nancy has to get one. Nancy.
So this is your
Rachel.
The budget, finance page and finance page.
It's so sticky. It is.
I got this last time.
There, I think that's it.
I do need this. Those are minutes.
I have some extra things that I printed out for you.
Did you print the final stuff to give out?
They were mailed to us, weren't they? Yeah.
I mailed them.
Oh,
Do you have, you don't have yours? You don't have them?
that's okay. I have them online, so I don't know if you made them.
Well, sit next to somebody who has a hard copy of them.
Does everybody have financials?
Yes.
I emailed them and then I thought everybody needs a hard copy, so.
Because there was something with the,
Oh, I said something.
And then
numbers.
the other things that I printed out were just things that I thought you should see.
right.
And,
Do you have another copy of the financial?
We can share.
She got
Oh,
one.
she-
Okay.
We're good.
Does everybody need a financial?
Okay, we'll do.
Yeah. We have an extra
Sean,
here
any
for
of
the
these?
financial.
Oh, okay, there's one, yes, thank you.
So, Madam President, you may start
Just for
us.
tonight, right?
Uh-huh.
Just for tonight. We start early?
Oh,
Nobody's missing. Yes.
everybody's here.
Thank you very much.
So we start the meeting at 6:55. Sorry, I literally just woke up. I'm really so well.
Oh, you know what? Usually Diane sends an agenda.
You don't have
We're
your
off of.
She did. That's why I thought I got.
We have extra copies, don't we?
but the chair's not working.
Yes, we do.
Sorry.
Who needs a?
Me, please.
Me too.
Thank you.
I don't need that spot.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Do you need my Nancy?
No, I'm all right, thank you.
Anybody else?
Yeah. I'm good. So I thought I needed this for the finance breakdown. It's good.
Somebody's stealing the printer.
Yeah, the printer's off.
Yes. Or decrease, oh, no, I don't think so. Rachel mentioned.
I'm not sure I did, that's why I had time.
Yeah, just follow that.
Order of business, you don't have to, just minutes.
I think I brought them up for the minutes. Where's that? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead. I'm just bringing it up.
Okay, do you want to go over the minutes if you have them up?
Everybody, I think Diane sent it. Did you send everybody a copy?
I never got them.
Oh, I emailed. Okay.
Why don't you read them to us?
Yeah.
I appreciate that. I just, did you, I didn't look today on.
Oh, it was.
Okay.
You were in Doylestown all day.
Oh, okay, all right. Yeah, and I said if you wouldn't mind
All right.
just sending them off to everybody because I didn't have them.
I'll,
That's fine, I'll just read them off then.
tomorrow I'll send everybody out. Nancy, I could agree together.
Here we go. Monday, September 16th, opened at 6:58 by Judy Miller. Judy Miller, Audrey Meyer, Rachel Mucken, Holly Harmon, Mary Morris, Nancy Boyd, Dawn, and Diane Hughes were in attendance. Minutes, Judy read the March minutes, motion to approve the minutes by Nancy Esten, seconded by Rachel, all ayes. Librarians report, Diane said that the time clock has been taken out to be repaired. The Halloween party is October 25th. They can use everyone's help because they get very busy. Also, they're waiting for the lift to be repaired. A part has to be manufactured because the unit is very old. We discussed the new fee of $3.75 per item to be cataloged. Sue and Dawn are going to go for training to learn the system. Dawn will check to see if DVDs are also being charged. Audrey suggested that we do our own cataloging. Judy believes we may have more advantages if we stay within the county system. Also, we would need to hire another person. Librarians report approved, motion by Nancy V, seconded by Nancy S. All ayes. We looked at the financial report and it is on target. Audrey asked about the line item deferred grant income. She wondered what it was. It is a new category that was not on the last financial. Diane will check with the borough to see what it is. Diane provided everyone with the new roster of the board members with their addresses and phone numbers and term schedule. Diane also passed out the list of meeting dates for 2018 and holiday schedule. She also passed out the flyers for the upcoming fall events, Halloween party on October 25th and October 26th, the Charlie Brown Great Pumpkin Movie. There was also a flyer for Summer Seed. They're having a paint party fall fundraiser on September 29th. We discussed the bylaws. It came to the board's attention that the bylaws the board worked on in 2015 have never been approved by council. They were presented to council along with a behavior policy and room rental policy. Not sure if council has seen them. Diane will email everyone a copy of the revised bylaws that were worked on in 2015. The bylaws that were never ratified included a 2 to 3 council persons. It was suggested to have them on board because it is a borough property and it has a budget that belongs to the council. Audrey asked if there is a bylaw committee. She was told no, we all work together and then approve them together. Judy has submitted her resignation, which will expire on, which will take place on September 30th. We will need to nominate new board members. Judy nominated Rachel Mucken to be president of the board until such time that we can select a new slate of officers. There will be a new member soon to take Judy's place. Nancy V thanked Judy for her time on the board and all the hard work. She will be missed. Judy said it was an honor to serve. Audrey asked if we have a sign-up program to get people to get a library card. Diane said that children over 16 can use their driver's license. Before that age, they can use their school ID. Diane said Sue does a sign-up program in the schools. We followed the county suggestions. Diane passed out a paper asking everyone to think about what the goals are that we have for the library and how to attain them. Motion to adjourn by Rachel and seconded by Nancy V at 8 p.m. Next meeting, October 8th.
Now you have to say,
Oh, yeah.
Do we want to approve
Well,
it?
we have a motion, and then talk about corrections.
Do you want to have a motion to approve? Or do we want to wait until we all?
No, you have to,
Oh, no.
we'll have a motion to approve, and then, that's okay.
you
I make
can
such a
sign.
motion.
Okay,
There you go.
so, and
I
then,
second it.
and then you have discussion, or corrections, or whatever. So,
And, so you second, is there any discussion?
I have a question. It said, the minutes you read, it said the bylaws from 2015,
The ones we have are,
that's these.
which were actually 2014, from what I remember.
yeah,
Oh, 14, okay.
okay, so we should just correct that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Oh,
I
sorry.
guess. Is that all? Any other corrections or, check, okay. Sorry, thank you.
And say,
All
all in favor?
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed?
All opposed?
Okay,
Then
motion
motion
passes.
Motion passed.
okay.
Thank you. Okay, so do the minutes. Order of business was that, in there or? Okay. Let's look, everybody want to look over the financial report?
Yeah.
There we go. I know the best of this.
I asked Michael what that,
That line item?
yeah, and he didn't know, so I just said, well, I'll call, Joan, and I didn't. Totally forgot until the second.
I thought he was gonna check into it.
He
too,
was.
and I don't think
He
anyone
was.
never got back to you.
It was going to be, I remember. Mr. Moore.
Very good. Revenue's only. This is August.
I don't see anything.
So 3/4
worse
of the
than-
year, and they're only at 55% for our costs, our expenses.
You don't see any red flags, do you, Dawn? I didn't either. I think we're pretty much on the money. We'll spend everything, don't worry.
Yeah.
I have to go back to who made that second, about the minutes. You did, thanks.
So Diane, has the fax machine come back to the levels you had before? You know, it was
Yeah.
not working for so long, and you lost some clientele.
It hasn't quite, but it's,
Because I thought this number was a little lower than,
Are you
In a
gonna
month.
scan again?
what?
We're having problems with scanning documents also?
That's fixed.
It's fixed.
Yes.
yeah.
It looks like you've got $60 per month coming in from the fax machine. Am I looking at this right?
Well, there's not even a budget for it because we,
Do we have a line item for it?
Yeah, there's used fax machine on 4354. It's the third one from the bottom. And for July to August,
Oh, thank you.
it went, July was $60, 68 for August.
It's not close to what we made before.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we would get 2,000.
Faxing's becoming an outdated thing.
Well,
yeah.
that, the fact that even though I used to use it regularly, now I don't, I just
Scan it
go to
with-
Burns or Staples because I didn't know it was even working.
Right.
So
Well,
some
that's
people
what-
may
A
not
lot of
be
people
aware.
will just email stuff now. Probably gonna start dwindling.
Is that something we could possibly put on the announcement?
Or even on a Facebook page?
Sure.
Or, and on the Facebook page?
Yeah?
Just to let people know it's up and running again, because you're right, a lot of people started going to Burns and Staples because they knew it wasn't working. So, just maybe to bring some revenue in.
So with the scanner, does that count as copy machine?
No.
What do you do with the scanner?
Well, it's according to what you do with it. You can make a copy of it, or you can just put it on your zip drive.
And there's no charge?
Not to just put it on your zip drive.
You're not using anything, no paper or anything
No.
like that.
Okay.
No,
It's just the technology.
It is, but nobody's gonna pay for that.
Okay, not because the
That one
computer's away for
tiny
free.
drop of electricity.
Right.
No, I mean, I think it's fine, I just,
Yeah, if they would scan it, they would pay for the fax. Scan
Okay.
the copy. Yeah.
So the rentals from the library basement, who's renting?
We grandfathered Delaware Valley, wait a minute, Delaware Valley Railroad
Railroad Club.
Society Association.
yeah.
They'd come here before I got here.
Those two, just those two?
No,
It's all
just
one.
one.
Oh, it's just one.
Is it like a miniature railroad thing?
It's, they're railroad enthusiasts,
Oh.
and they always do a program for us, 1 or 2 programs for us. And,
That's nice.
yeah, and they are steadfast, and they take very good care of the basement.
So there's no possibility of opening it up to anybody else to generate revenue?
Sure.
Well, the problem that we faced was vandalism.
And messes, just they weren't cleaning up and.
Well, then.
Paint on the walls,
And we
red-
couldn't
Plus,
get
we're not
someone,
handicapped
but
accessible.
stuff
and we're
that-
not handicapped accessible.
That's not
a
always an
huge-
issue, as long as you make a note of it that's saying we're not handicap accessible as of yet. Then people are given the option or not. They don't have to rent it.
Well, I don't know,
That I never
we talked
heard
to,
of.
we talked to
No, I've done
solicitor.
that at other places, absolutely.
But this is a borough.
What are the
property,
places, yeah?
Which the council felt, I mean, the members previously,
I think that's where we got
who
to
were
is,
on the
with the
council.
board, that's
Yeah.
what they weren't approving. And
Because
the-
the
Well, maybe we
council
could ask them again, so
that's
it's been 4
wonderful.
years.
But the other problem
And we
was
need
the
that, yeah.
extreme mess down here that people were leaving.
They,
And
Dawn,
the staff could not
You're taking
clean it
the-
up.
So there would be no reason, there would be,
pacifiers out of the sink.
Oh,
Yeah,
They don't get their, they were not getting their deposit back, but it didn't seem to matter.
how much was the rental?
Yeah, what was the deposit amount?
oh, it was like
$50.
$50.
You need to
Maybe
bring
a
that
little
up
bit
higher.
more, maybe.
But they didn't seem to care, and it was creating, I don't know, I just remember this as Nancy does, and Nancy, it was just,
Yeah,
it was too unfair
have stains
for the
all over the
library
roads.
staff, because they use this for their children's programming a lot.
We had,
So was it the type of rentals, was it to just say, I don't know?
Parties,
big
people
parties?
thought it was a good deal.
So what about professional
Right.
organizations
There
that would
could
want to
be-
have meetings, I'm sure?
to limit it to organizations with insurance or something, not parties.
Yeah, not for
A lot of
private
places do
parties.
that, sure.
they would have to have, we insisted they have insurance of some type anyway.
Makes sense,
Yeah,
yeah.
of course, yeah.
I'm just saying, there's probably a lot of clubs that would be respectful of the space.
Well, the
But a
other
lot of them
thing-
Wasn't
don't have
there a
insurance.
conflict too about if the borough was responsible for some of the
Yes.
cleanup because this is a borough property?
And they wouldn't,
And
and they
there was
didn't,
something about, I remember.
they didn't
I'm
want
not
to do
making
it.
this up, right? They
No, you're not
They
making
didn't
it up.
want to help out with Diane and staff, the
I mean,
afterward,
we
and
can
that
ask
was
them
a,
again,
that was a
but
conflict.
the solicitor recommended that the ADA will get you. You can't just say, well, just so you know, we don't have it. We are borough property, so that was the issue. It wasn't really
Well, we can
cleanup.
check again and see if
Yeah.
that's still an issue, because from what I understand is if you notify people beforehand, a professional organization, and say this is available for rental, however, not ADA compliant as of yet, it's their option to decide whether or not they want to use it. It's not like you're having a program and leaving them out because of that, it's not ADA compliant. It's an option, it's not something that, like the borough is having meetings here and they can't come to.
I would definitely talk to a solicitor. about that.
Absolutely, but
We can bring it up.
us being here tonight is also not ADA compliant.
Oh, they get it,
Yes,
it's out.
but
We
we,
can't use this bathroom, I'd have to go all the way down and around
And the lift is
upstairs.
out too.
Right, so that being here is also not compliant, so. I mean,
but then again, we're
Can't hurt to
volunteering
ask.
to
I was
us here.
just
It's
gonna
not,
say we're
we're not
volunteering,
charged, they're not charging
volunteering.
us. That's the
that's
difference.
Well, that's my
That's
point, we're
the
volunteering, and
difference.
those people can volunteer to come and use it as a professional
Well, I'll
organization.
tell you,
as we
there
are.
is-
We had Zumba that was here for a while, but
And that
we
created
couldn't.
problems.
Well, I'm
We
not
could-
talking about those kind of things, I'm talking about a professional organization, not a class or, although if they opt to come here,
No, we couldn't let them because they had no insurance.
oh, well, that's, okay, that's a
Right.
different
So,
story,
and
that I
I'm
totally
just-
agree with.
yeah.
And we had a church here, it was for about a year, right? Every Sunday morning, there was a church.
Yeah.
I would definitely rethink the charge.
Absolutely.
Just have a heftier deposit, that's all.
You can also include a cleanup charge, I mean, if. and
Well, we
have somebody-
did, but then somebody, it didn't cover what it actually cost, and the library
Deposit
staff
and
could
cleanup.
That
not
was
do
because
it.
that was parties, you're saying? I'm
Well, some
excluding
parties.
Yeah.
I mean, we would have rented it to anybody, but there wasn't really a whole lot of interest for professional groups.
And then the other problem that we had is whether it was a group that was renting or a party, and, you know, they signed a contract. You must leave the basement the way it was when you walked in. And that never happened, because we have it set up for kids come,
We even gave them
Through all
diagrams,
yeah,
so.
so.
So unless you're gonna charge like $200
Yeah.
at least for cleanups and deposit and then another
Or
250
even
more.
more.
And then it becomes prohibitive. So.
But we don't
maybe
really
not
know
for-
that until we look into
The
it.
Falls Meeting House
Check
is
with the
ground
solicitor
system,
and
it's
see if
$500.
there's
I'd like to
right?
see how what other libraries
it's-
charge for use of their rooms, like, I know Levittown rents rooms, and so does Langhorne.
But they are also compliant.
And
It had nothing to do with the compliance, it had to do with the rental fees.
They're not a government-owned building.
Either.
There's a difference.
They're not.
I don't think so.
They are
County
owned by the
library.
library, yes, they are independent.
Of the township?
Yes.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yes.
But they're owned by somebody.
Still.
They're owned by the, right, the county,
They're county
county library. But it's not the same as like the borough.
We are in a very.
Have to be
It's a
somebody
little-
like Grundy then, who is in it.
Yeah, Grundy would be a good, that would be good if you're going to investigate it, yeah.
And then, the board would have to, somebody on the board, or there would be a rental committee from the board that would have to take charge.
Because I've gone to a lot of events at Grundy,
Okay.
gardening seminars.
You know, the other
Kinds of
thing you
stuff.
have to think about is,
Sure.
does somebody need to be here?
But we
Yeah,
have
That
in
was
the
another
past.
issue for us.
Yeah, I mean, like Sunday, we didn't have anybody here for the church that was here for years. They just,
We never had anybody here, it was just, you know, they came, they picked up the key before,
Right.
and then they locked up. And then we would, you know,
right,
walk
the key
into
deposit was also
red
included.
footprints on the wall, and
Yeah.
paint on the ceiling, and
You don't
And
have somebody
stuff
here
to-
with the railroad,
And these-
right?
And these were from professional organizations?
and we
Oh.
also had,
Well, that's
The
what
Girl
I'm saying.
Scouts, we have Girl Scouts here.
So
Can't have them.
Girl
what
Scouts,
you're
and they
saying
were
is that most of the Scouts are good, that's sad.
we also had somebody who was actually renting it, but sub-renting it, and would have parties here with 150
Yeah.
people in it. So they were paying us $50, and then
That's
they
why we
were
put the sub-rental thing in there too.
renting it out
Yeah.
again
Oh,
for
sub-rent.
huge
Crazy.
parties.
Yeah, so
So
if you
there
have
was
this-
something that all those years ago we had sent to the council about it, nothing ever
Well, we
happened.
still have that, and Diane has a copy of that, because around the same time, maybe that was in 15, we did the behavior policy and the rental policy, which we also worked on for about a year, I guess. All right, well, I'll just, I mean, I'll make a motion or suggest that
We
we
accept.
approach the council again about the possibility of renting out the room and find out what the legal ramifications are, because it has to be.
Well,
have
who's
to
gonna
be
do
legal.
that, and what questions are you gonna ask?
Well,
Because I want to know about,
I think you should go to, have a sit down with Scott, start with Scott.
me, I'm not gonna do it by myself. The board member has to come with me, because it's ultimately gonna be the board's
I'll go if
responsibility.
nobody else
It
wants
doesn't
to.
matter, or the,
I kind of have to work during the day, so.
or Rachel can go, and she's passed.
Working during the day now.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right,
during the day too.
all right. So you tell me when you want to go, and I'll go with you.
Okay.
Find a day that can get over a little early or something. I'll see what I can do about getting out early one day.
I'm working double shifts, starting the 17th.
It's
Okay.
it's a
So-
great idea
Yeah.
to bring in revenue, but the way it was before, it wasn't worth it. It wasn't worth it for the library, for the vandalism, for the stuffed toilets, for the stuffed sink, for $50.
No, well, that's,
Well, we can up that price.
should go up to like 150 or 200.
And then when I
Easily.
went to somebody and said, we're gonna keep your deposit, she threatened.
Then there was a fight.
Well, so what?
Oh,
Well, then becomes a fight with the council.
then I said, it's all right, keep your deposit, that's all right.
Well,
I would.
The thing is, this is it's an old building, I think it's definitely vintage, we love the outside, but down here is not, it's not comparable to some of the other locations that are ready that we're talking about. So it might not be as desirable to some, so.
And then
Which is,
there's the conflict between how we use it as a library. Because I'm saying these things because I don't want to get back to where we were.
right, because you
Which
have
is
to.
that we did that for the library staff's sake.
Well, the thing is, if you're having events here, you have to block out your time before and after to make sure it's good to go and that you're ready for, and set up for whatever the next event is.
And then there has to be somebody letting
So-
them out to make sure that these tables and these chairs Like it really is the way it was
Yeah,
left.
yeah.
Because Sue would set things up and invariably, always, she'd be down here setting things up again.
So
Because
someone,
we have classes a lot. We have a lot of classes.
so the time,
Well, it varies, but on a weekly basis, we have about 3 classes coming here. And then Sue goes to satellite daycare centers and schools. And then she'll make arrangements instead of going to them. For some reason, they'll come here.
What type of classes? Never heard about it.
These are school classes.
Yeah, she
To
reads to
come
them.
here?
Village.
Okay.
And they take books out, and she does a craft with them.
and then all summer long, there's a program, so we can't even really rent out in the
Yeah.
summer. So, I mean, it's limited time to renting. I'm not saying we should look into it, but
Do the
times are
classes come
limited.
in the evening also,
In the evening?
during the summer?
We have programs in,
Programs, I meant,
No,
I'm
I
sorry,
will
not
say
classes.
during the summer that there's no air conditioning down here.
and there's no heat.
It gets hot.
Oh,
Or yeah,
So
there's more
we're,
jackets down here.
it's just limited, you know, in our amenities.
I can see that. I was just questioning potential additional revenue because there's a slate roof that needs to be fixed. And this would be an ideal situation if we could make it work and work out the bugs and find out what needed to be done, and dot our i's, cross our t's, increase the money, and other things you need to do to make sure that there's no hassles like it used to be. Because there's plenty of people in town, whether they're organizations or groups, that need a place to go, and there isn't any place to go.
Short of renting a room in a restaurant or something. And
Right.
Well, the
Hotel.
senior center on
$65
Cleveland
an hour.
Avenue used to rent it out, and then they stopped before we stopped for the same reason. Now I think they're
They
renting.
do it now,
out.
$65 an hour.
an hour.
An hour?
An hour.
And there's a
Ooh.
deposit too.
Yeah.
No, it gets it in and out in 2 hours and keeps it clean, so.
Yeah.
Do I have a second for Nancy's motion?
Or suggestion, whatever, I mean, whatever you want to phrase it.
No, I'm not. We're supposed to do a second before the discussion.
Okay.
In the technical.
Do you want to read your motion, Nancy?
Oh, why didn't you have it as a motion?
Oh.
Can't we just all agree that we'll have Diane and I said I can go with her and meet with Scott Mitchell, explain what we want to do.
So you want to rescind the motion? You just want to,
Oh, I didn't know I said motion, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
thought you
I
did.
did?
Okay, you did,
All right, so
sorry.
the motion is that
Motion
Diane
to-
will meet with
To look into it, Diane.
Scott
and Nancy.
Mitchell to look into the legal aspects of renting out the library board
Now do I have a second?
basement.
Somebody
Second.
should say.
Second.
Audrey second.
All in
Then, all in favor?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. I got the second.
I'm a
Who's
nay.
the first?
I'm a
You're
nay.
second.
First, Mary.
Mary? Okay.
But it went where we were.
Okay, so we still have to approve the financials.
Do you see anything?
I don't see.
We did get off track, didn't we?
So,
No, and we don't have the answer yet to the
to the.
deferred grant income.
Right.
Hopefully we'll be able to find that out.
Do I have a motion to approve the financials?
I'll make a motion to approve the financials.
And I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
No?
I
think they were good.
Finance are passed.
Okay.
Ready to go to the librarians report, ladies?
Sure.
Email.
Do we have mine and I forgot
So, do we have copies of the librarians reports, or?
this. It was all in
That was
mine.
all done, I have it here.
Who needs a copy?
I already read it.
Do you need?
I got it. I just don't have it with me. I'll look on with Rachel.
Sure, I have extra.
I just didn't print mine.
My phone didn't work.
Does anybody else need
Yes,
one?
please.
I don't have that many extra, we may have to share.
That's
in the back of the.
You spoil us, you always have these copies for us.
That's might be on the way I
This is
printed
about
it.
scale.
I think I have one, that's okay, thank
Here,
you.
I already read it, so, I mean, I had read it.
Thank
I
you
have to
very much.
just bring that up a little. My eyes are too,
I think,
reaching 40 very quickly.
Rachel?
Oh, thank you. Here, I'll share it with this. Sure. Can't call you Nancy, sorry. Just
Do you
can't
have
get it. Mrs. Sherlock and I have it, thank you.
You gonna share?
Yeah. So next, now it's up.
my last
See?
librarian's
Still down here.
report, I said it was $375 per item. It's so I corrected it here, it's $325.
Okay, okay, well, that's a bit of a help.
And are the DVDs included?
No, it's
Okay.
just books,
It's
print
Oh,
material.
good, they don't
Yes.
charge for the DVDs.
Not yet,
Good.
not as of
That's
yet.
good.
BCFL will still be handling that.
Well, that's good.
Now, is this a flat fee?
Yes.
There's no possibility of lesser?
How is that?
Well, because I called them and they said that it's an à la carte service, and you can have as little or as much as you want as the service.
Who did you call? Baker and Taylor?
Yes.
Okay. We've got this, we're doing it as Bucks County Community, Bucks County Library, and that's why we've got, a better price at $325.
And what rate did you get, Holly?
They didn't give me a rate, they said it depends on the level of processing that you want.
The amount.
It could be
volume.
as,
Also volume.
on a sliding scale from, one spot to the other, depending on.
But we get I could be wrong, but I would assume we get the best price possible because of the quantity.
That's
Bucks
what
County.
Martine was saying.
But for how many services?
It's for all
Is
of
it-
the processing. They cover the books, they put the barcodes on, they stamp the books.
That's what I mean, but all that part can be à la carte. You can take as little or as many of those
But then
processes.
we're going separate from BCFL.
Right.
So we
We're on our own.
will, we won't be getting the greater discount on the books.
Okay.
So you're getting a discount, but they'll charge you an additional $325 per book.
Right.
So if you buy a $3 paperback, it's an additional $325
I
for
think,
shelf ready.
I think I think the $325
It's all print material.
is a discount too. BCFL said if you want to, you can enter into your own contract with Baker and Taylor. You don't have to do it under the umbrella of BCFL, but you're not going to get the savings because of the quantity that goes through.
Well, we would also have to hire somebody, and they've just reduced your hours,
Yeah,
with the possibility of reducing more hours. So I don't know how we.
You hired a new person?
No,
No, you have to hire someone.
no, we
Oh,
would
how
have to
many
hire
people
somebody.
are working there now?
Reduce the hours?
8
When did they
8
reduce
people?
your
No, I
hours?
didn't hear
I
about
didn't hear
that.
about that either.
December 1st, didn't I?
No, I did not
I
hear.
thought that was because there was more than the 6 allowable people rather than the 8.
No,
No. Why?
they
They're
need
reducing the
to-
library hours?
not the library hours.
The staff meeting?
Staff hours. Part-time used to be 32 hours.
They're cutting
Now part-time is 30.
And how
Starting
many part-timers? do you
December
have?
1st. We're all
Everybody's
part-time.
part-time.
Okay,
But I'm,
so you're losing what,
I'm
2
sorry.
hours?
Per person.
How, times 8?
no,
And
because
losing benefits.
No. John-
most of our part-time people don't work 32 hours a week.
Okay.
Mary,
Mary Beth occasionally,
Yeah.
Alexandra occasionally.
and me all the time, so I'll be losing 8 hours a month.
All right, so getting back to
You're
the
salary,
books.
aren't you?
No.
Oh, I thought you were salary.
I stay as long as I have to get things done. But
But you're.
I usually work,
You're paid by the hour, Diane? I thought it was salary.
That's interesting.
no, I'm part-time at 32. I can't, no matter how long I stay, I can't get paid more than 32. And believe me, this is not a 32-hour
No, I know you put a
job.
lot of hours in, I just thought, maybe that's why I thought it was a salary.
Yeah, that's, it
Yeah,
works
maybe.
kind of like that,
Yeah.
doesn't it? I mean, it looks like,
Is
you
it
know,
possible at some point to get a list of everybody and their hours? So we can do a cost comparison?
Cost comparison for what?
hours will change, hours change weekly, like,
Well, but on an average, you know what I mean?
You mean average hours for each person? Is that what you're looking for?
Yeah, just to see how much man hours compared with times that they're open.
I'm not understanding.
Well, I see what you're saying, if the coverage is at night, coverage is,
Right.
when exactly the
Like
coverage
where
is.
the peak
part-time.
points are, and, you know.
Yeah.
okay.
But I think she schedules
We have
appropriately.
2 people on in the front at all times.
Well, that makes sense.
Right.
But they may not, like Mary Beth works all day, she'll work 10:30 to 8. Somebody else maybe 10:30 to 4, and then somebody comes in 4 to 8.
And if I could just point, I'm more of a visual person, I gotta read things.
Yeah,
I can't, it goes in one ear and out the other one, or, I mean, you know.
Well, what did I just send to Scott? I sent, he wanted to know our schedule.
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you have a set schedule? for people?
No, we don't have a set schedule.
Just every week is a
It changes
different
monthly,
schedule.
it
Month
monthly,
to
it
month.
changes monthly.
Monthly, okay, so you have a monthly schedule.
Yes, I have a monthly schedule.
Now, is that because people want different times off for
Mhm.
coverage and stuff? So they're basically swapping hours around? Okay,
And holidays.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
maybe just to do it all the time,
I
swapping
would
out
think
shifts.
your next monthly schedule, if you just, would that help you?
Yeah, that would help me, definitely would
Just
help
to
me,
see,
yeah, just
it
to.
doesn't matter what month it is.
No, just to
Make
see an
it up
average where
for-
the big peak times are of coverage and times that you don't need so much.
If you made it for October,
Yeah,
well, we always have to have 2 people on in the
yeah,
front.
no, I understand that. I'm perfectly.
And it is,
understand
this cutting people down to 30 is gonna, Dawn's gonna have a hard time, not constantly, but several times, making sure we're covered. It's not gonna be easy.
Do you have people offering to volunteer to help out with coverages? I know you did before.
You mean people that work here?
Mm-hmm.
Well, there are people who want the extra
Mhm.
hours. There are some people who don't want extra hours.
But they
Maybe as a
can't get
volunteer.
the extra hours. You're talking about,
that. You mean like
Volunteer
unpaid,
from-
an unpaid
Exactly.
volunteer?
No, we don't have any volunteers.
No, okay.
Is there something worth checking into creating a volunteer program?
We have tried, people don't stay.
Yeah, and it wasn't that long ago either.
Did they ever give you a reason?
No, they'll just come and help for a while and then they're done.
Well, what kind of help do they do? I'm just curious, what is it?
They shelve books
The shelf books.
and,
That's it?
yeah,
Well, pretty much, yeah. We just
because we've
want-
had enough coverage up there to
You know,
check in and check out.
you know, read shelves, make sure things are in order.
Order,
and things
yeah.
like that.
Help people find what they're looking for. But they don't stay at,
Do you get a lot of kids from the Catholic school for service hours, maybe, for Saturdays?
Sometimes, but really, not that often. Might be the end of the year.
Because they're all
They'll call
rushing
and
to get.
say,
When
Yeah,
they're not on their hours.
I need my hours, yeah.
yeah, my daughter volunteered here one year.
she was wonderful.
Thank you, that was so many years ago.
I had no idea she was your daughter until a couple of years ago.
15 years ago, that was now.
She was great. But they're not all highies.
Well, that's true, some of them probably just goof off, but I get that.
When I have to wake a volunteer up off a table.
No. Where was the, where was the leak?
I don't know, there's a lot of.
Oh, the leak was right, it was in the office, just as you're going into the main section of the library, and it was a torrential.
Is that when we
I had a leak
got
in my
a crazy downpour?
It was, and it kept going.
Did you get it fixed, Diane?
Well, I let John later know, we do need a roof, you know. What happens with these old slates is they are hammered in with copper nails. And copper nails don't last 100 years.
No.
So when
It's a
the
soft
nails are
metal, too.
gone,
They start to shift.
one slate will fall off and there'll be a, when were they up on the roof the last time? Last year, I think.
It's been a while.
And they'll look to see where there's no slates and they'll.
When we
patch
replaced
it.
some of those with the faux slate.
Yeah,
They come down too, though.
Yeah,
Yeah.
We were
The
here
nails
when-
are the
yeah,
problem, I guess.
yeah.
When we were doing the book sale,
Copper nails too,
fell
that's
right
expensive.
as the person was walking out.
Wow.
Yeah.
it's,
There must
I
be
brought
an
it up.
alternative to copper. That's expensive.
I don't,
Have we thought
wouldn't
about?
imagine, do they use copper now?
Oh, no, I used to use aluminum on mine, but that
They
was-
probably use aluminum now, but when it was 100 years
Being
ago.
that our roof is so large, have they thought about maybe putting solar panels on the roofs? If
That
we're
would
going
kind
to
of
be
ruin
replacing
the
it? I had, well, not
historic
the
quality of
Tesla.
the building.
Tesla does all
Well,
different
the
types of-
problem with that would be, we have a drop ceiling. So solar panels would be for what purpose?
Just a drop ceiling that's.
Yeah, no, on top of the roof, like,
It's on this
that
outside
was
of the
paid
building.
for.
Not solar lights, solar
Solar
collecting
panels.
panels on the roof.
The pulling-
Like you're in front of Snipes that collect solar energy and convert it to electricity.
Oh, gotcha. Well,
We did mention it before, but.
It's such a pretty building, I wouldn't want to trash it up with
I don't,
solar.
can you see that high though? I mean, when you think about it.
It could be
I guess it
It's
eventually,
only supposed to be what, from the south or something,
Mhm.
so.
Southwest sort of, yeah.
So it's like we can't hide it in the back.
I know we'd have to do fundraising, we'd have to look for grants.
We did send out some letters,
Um,
about, just about a year and a half. Yeah, we sent out letters to various businesses
Yeah,
and looked for a benefactor to see if
Yeah.
they would help with the roof, but I don't know, what we get, maybe $100. And they were big businesses, they weren't just our local, mom and pop shops.
Probably gotta give something really big like Pico.
Or historic society.
Yeah. We'll check it into.
And it has it leaked since the spot?
no.
Okay.
It's
Could have
pretty
been
bad
just,
in the-
it was, my roof was leaking at one spot. Hasn't.
So it seems to be fixed at this time then.
It's not, it hasn't leaked since.
That was an exceptional rain.
Yes.
Okay.
All right.
And take my shoes
Okay,
off
I'd like to
before
get
I
back to
shower.
the original discussion, which is the BCFL and the charges. Are you involved in the shared service contract with the library, with the Bucks County? Okay. And they outlined, can you bring the contract in so we can all see it?
I don't think so. I mean, I can ask.
Well, it's, who has it?
I would
Just they
ask.
do, or?
You can call
I mean, you don't have it, what I'm saying is you don't have a copy of it? I'll gladly call them.
Yeah.
That's fine. I'll call them, not a problem.
Oh,
Because I'd like to see the details of that and why it's
Just, I can't remember the name.
only that particular vendor and why not other ones? And why that,
Chris Snyder.
you said you guys were going for training for what?
They were supposed to change the way that we ordered the books, but as it turns out, it's pretty much the same, a few little tweaks, but other than that, it's pretty much the same.
Diane, is there a chance Chris Snyder could get that, the contract?
I can ask her.
Yeah, she's our liaison between the Bucks County, Doylestown Network and.
Oh,
and
okay.
here. So
I mean, I
maybe
think
she
those-
can get a copy
Yeah.
of the contract that they have.
I'm sure Sarah Biden can buy
She's
that.
out of Doylestown.
Yeah, she works for the library.
Yeah,
Thank you.
you're welcome.
That makes it easier. So basically what you're ordering is shelf ready. There's no a la carte here. It's
Yeah.
done.
Everything will be shelved.
Okay.
So it
That's
makes
what we
sense.
get from Doylestown now,
Mhm.
however, they are no longer doing it. Baker and Taylor will be doing it.
Makes sense.
Let's see. The scanning is better. It's almost 90% works, but
Good.
still doesn't quite get everybody scanned in.
It's okay, it's like.
So Diane, you're gonna call Chris Snyder?
I will call Chris.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
She might just have a listing of pricing and what is offered out under contract, but she could even just email you. So. Okay. So.
But I don't particularly look forward to having a private contract with Baker and Taylor. I'd rather have BCFL take care of.
I tend to agree with you on that because we're gonna blow the discount that we get.
Yeah.
I do agree with you on that, but, and if she has the contract with rates, maybe that shows us something different, you know? It's worth seeing if she has that.
Yeah, I'll get whatever I can from her.
Yeah, I mean, Chris is pretty good with working with us on stuff.
Oh, yeah.
I'm just a little surprised that there's no processing done here.
Who's gonna do it and when? You've got part-time staff, you've got 8 people working, one is the children's librarian who does all the programming and all the children, me, Dawn. I mean, who would do it? And we have 2 people out on the circulation desk that never sit down.
Do you come in during the day, or do you, I mean,
On occasion, sure.
they're always
Yeah,
busy.
they have a lot of people in there.
I'm always at
busy
work.
when I come, so.
I've been in here a handful of times, I didn't see real busy, but it was only
Yeah,
3 times in 2 years or something.
I must come out off times.
I mean, you can,
I mean, there are gonna be slow times.
Right.
It happens,
Mhm.
but there are extremely busy times too.
Typically, how many books a month are taken out?
I would have to get the, well.
we have, that should be in your
That's in
book.
here, right?
Okay, I got
That's here.
it. Yeah, I just grabbed what I needed for tonight, I'll look at it. Was it up there? Oh.
Yeah,
Adult, easy, junior,
Okay.
and teen.
So, close to 2,000 each month. Do you know?
I don't know what we're gonna do with the, I know Scott Mitchell wants the scanner to work 100%, so they're working on that.
Is it an older scanner?
No, it's brand new.
Rogers up there, so
They have it programming it the right way?
I draw.
No.
I just can't scan it now. It just won't accept me.
No, but it's not just you.
It's
got it in for you, right?
It's me 90% of the time. It's
Oh,
okay.
yeah, it's her mostly. But you'll stand there and you have to scan 3, 4, 5 times. And then it will, no authority, no authority, no authority. Scanned in. It takes time. You know, you're sitting there and
Yeah.
we're always happy when we get scanned in. But the face scanner was much worse.
You have to put a thumb in?
Yeah,
Yes,
we do that
it's a
now.
finger scanner now.
Oh, it's not a code.
No.
You can bypass that though. Every time clock I've ever had, you bypass it. You put a code in instead, it's usually your birthday.
Oh, can I ask something? Is there anybody that could help run a game at the Halloween party?
It's during the day, isn't it?
No.
No, it's
25th,
6 to
right?
7.
The 25th?
Are these
That's a
both
Thursday.
things both happening on the 26th?
No,
Did I
did I
go
go wrong?
typo.
Yeah.
That's a typo.
25th is the holiday.
Mary, we're good, but we're not that good.
The first one's a Thursday.
Okay, so it's
That's
a
what-
Thursday.
See, I work till 9 o'clock on Thursdays.
Well, you're not the
I
only
already
one.
have it committed that night.
Oh, I know, I just wanted to see what day of the week it was.
Think about it and let me know, because
Rachel can attest to what it
It
was
was
like last
crazy.
year.
I'll be setting up for trunk or treat and fall
Is
fest.
that when you're having the trunk or treat?
On Friday.
Same night?
The Friday,
Yeah.
yeah, we're having bonfire this weekend.
It's fun, but it's
My name, or all maintenance.
hectic. And we, how many kids, did we have 200 last year?
It was crazy.
Yeah.
That's good.
The movie night's not as
No.
crowded, but.
No,
still
the
neat.
movie night's so sweet. All these little kids come in their jammies with the, oh, so cute.
All right. Is that it? I'll make a motion that we pass the library's report. No? Yes?
I did.
And we're,
I'll
Okay.
second it.
any discussion on it? All in favor?
Hi.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
That's okay.
Topics for discussion.
Let's see, what do you get today from her?
When I send the librarian's report out, most of the time I send the agenda. If I don't send it, then I just forgot about it. But if there's anybody who wants a topic discussed, tell me and I'll put it on this agenda.
Okay.
I wanted to discuss,
Can we do the-
oh, yeah, sure.
I just, did everybody get a copy of the library hours and board
I've got
meetings?
that.
So we're good with that?
That's right.
So I can send it to, I can send it to Doylestown to let them know
Is that
You all
for 18 or
approved.
19?
for 2019.
19, okay. Because I think the first time we're here, you gave us 18 just because these ladies were here.
Yeah.
Right,
But this
right.
is the newest
This is
one,
the
right?
newest
for next year.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you.
next year.
I pretty much followed the same pattern and
I
just changed the date when the date needed to be changed.
I want to make sure that I had it right in the minutes when I said that you gave out 18s.
Yes.
Okay.
All right, so I just have a question. These meetings are based on 2018's, like you said? We did the same?
For the board meetings?
Yes.
Yes. Mhm.
Okay, is that in compliance with the bylaws?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I was not aware, I thought it had to be a monthly meeting.
Oh, no.
So which bylaws is this according to, the 98?
I believe so. I don't have-
I think both of them.
I was gonna say, both of them.
We changed them when Chris Snyder spoke to us about what trustees and library boards, we had fewer meetings. Do you remember that?
I do.
We had,
Yeah, we only had 6 at one time, and I think we
and
went
we
up to 8.
changed it to 8.
Yeah,
So,
so it was like every other month when we first started. It's not a monthly,
It's not monthly, I'm just looking to see what it is.
it's like 8 meetings scheduled.
so,
We take into consideration the summer season.
We missed
so there's a
February.
meeting in January, but there's
December.
not one in February.
Right.
And then
I
the
can
new.
see that, but I'm looking to see in the bylaws what it says.
I think I don't,
Meetings.
8, you have to have 8, is that what they
It
said?
said every 2 months unless otherwise there shall be, that doesn't make sense.
No less than 8 scheduled meetings per year.
Every 2 months
Right.
unless dates are so otherwise agreed upon by the members of the library board.
Well,
That's what this one says.
there shall be no less than 8, so every 2 months would be 6.
6.
Right.
So we might want to change this before it goes to the borough.
I think
Well-
maybe they'd say the 2 months so that you don't go longer and have 4 months and then just do 8 months or
Right.
4 months. So it's every 2 months you have to have one, but no less than 8.
Yeah, maybe this is.
Like every
But then we
other,
don't,
less than 8.
I don't think we meet, do we meet in December? I don't think we meet in December either, right?
We don't.
Right.
Well, we do,
So it doesn't necessarily
we
follow.
have the last couple, to me, I think if there's nothing great that you have to discuss, you don't have to meet in December. But the last 3 or 4 years, we did meet in December.
I think it was
The
because the
budget-
budget was coming
budget.
out and we wanted to get a preliminary
Makes sense.
report.
That's why I always meant.
That's why we went for December.
Okay.
So, correct me if I'm wrong.
We
but-
should have the budget before that, though.
Oh, yeah.
But we normally don't. I think they vote on it like the first or second week or something, and December or so, where we get the,
Yeah,
and then it was
depends.
gone over with
It depends.
in the December meeting.
When we went for
Is that
the extra, when we had to go to the county, to the judges to get the approval for the extra, millage, thank you. Sometimes we couldn't even get an appointment until December.
Right.
So
I went
you
in
can't really,
December.
yeah, so you really can't approve it until December, depending on when you, but, you know, if they don't go for millage, and a millage extension, then they wouldn't, you know, they could do it almost any time, I suppose.
Well, our council meeting's gonna see where they're at with the budget.
I think they're voting on the preliminary tomorrow.
Yeah, I think they're way ahead this year.
Yeah, they don't want to wait that late, I think that's why.
That's good then.
And then there's another
Well,
hour.
they
Well,
can't make,
You cover it in the
can't make the budget
budget.
either.
Yeah, I think that's great.
well, they have, you know, they have $200,000 worth of
Budgeting.
personnel to be able to get it out that time, not 20 hours.
Mm.
You know.
Yeah.
A part-time manager was 20 hours. Now they have Scott, who's full-time, at $109,000, and they have a finance guy at $85,000 full-time. So that's, you know, that's almost $200,000 of personnel to be able to get it out on time. So, but sometimes you don't necessarily know I mean, you can project what you're going to make in November, December, but they're just projections. We'll see what happens. We'll see if we have the EAT coming in.
They haven't even been talking about
No,
EIT.
They did at the finance meeting.
That was a minor
That was just
discussion.
to do some research kind of thing.
Yeah, that was.
What's EIT?
Earned income
tax.
Oh, they haven't voted on
No, he hasn't even proposed it, they just said, asked to do some research about it. That's all.
Just brought up in a conversation to, yeah, look into it.
that. Good, cause I,
Well, I pay more where I work now, I'd rather my money come here, but that's just me.
yeah,
And if you work two places like I do, you could double the money.
Yep.
did we okay the librarian's report? So
So
now
now we
we're
get the librarians.
We did.
Yes.
We're just in the discussion.
Yes.
You said you wanted the last thing you said was you wanted to see if anybody could help out on, for the parties.
Volunteer,
Yeah,
And people agreed that they would contact Diane.
Yes.
Right.
Is that right?
You could always ask too, if anybody has a grandkid or a kid that wants to volunteer too.
oh, sure.
Doesn't have to be, you know,
Doesn't have
this
to,
generation.
doesn't have to be the lovely ladies like us. We'll take volunteers, I mean, young volunteers. So what I wanted to discuss, and I don't know whether you want to discuss it now or you want to think about it. I know at the last meeting, I sent you home with a paper that said, where do you think the library should go? What do you think you can do to support that? And then I have the, what should we call that thing that I sent you? Yeah, there. But
Right.
what's the other?
How you can personally contribute?
Oh, I know. The duties and responsibilities of the board member.
Oh.
The job description.
Yeah. And then I went on the ALA and I pulled up a bunch of ideas for people. But I think as a board, one of the things that needs to be thought of, short-term projects or short-term goals and long-term goals. I know we need a roof and we need a rug. Those could be long-time goals.
Roof upstairs, roof upstairs.
Yeah. That's what I would like to see happen at the library. We've often talked about, wouldn't it be nice if we could use this area as the children's library area, but we don't have the staff. I mean, those things that is kind of pie in the sky, but it could be wonderful. My short-term goals are always like increasing circulation. And